Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. Today, we're going to talk about building your brand, 3 pillars of visibility. Now, I recently presented this topic at a conference that I was at last week, and it was a really great conversation, so I thought I'd share these with you as well. The first pillar is establishing a powerful personal brand. Now, I think people struggle with this a little bit because they don't realize what they have to offer is unique. But we all have a set of unique experiences, strengths, skills, and capabilities that we bring to our work every day. And instead of celebrating those and embracing them, sometimes we diminish and devalue them instead because we're just not feeling confident. There's a great quote I use a lot. Your professional image is the set of qualities and characteristics that represent perceptions of your competence and character as judged by your key constituents. That might be direct reports, managers, clients, whoever they are. But remember that people are making decisions based on how you show up. So they might create perceptions that are positive, but it might also create perceptions that are not positive for you. And it doesn't mean that's who you are, it just means that's the perception. And that quote comes from Laura M. Roberts, who wrote an HBS article. And I feel like it's something that we have to at least explore, and people don't always think about it. So sometimes people will write what's called a personal brand statement, which is a statement about who they are that lets people get to know them. And we want your personal brand statement to talk about what makes you unique, the expertise you bring, the things that people need to know about you or that you want them to know about you. And it's a good way for them to be able to do that without even meeting you. If it's true and authentic, the statement will tell people who you are without even meeting you. That's how powerful it can be. So tell your story. People want to connect with people, right? They want to know you and what makes you unique. And people want someone that they see as authentic and genuine. They want people showing up as themselves. They don't want somebody who's a persona that isn't real. The thing about personal branding is that it lets people know more about you, how you think, your personality, your skills. Talk about those things. They need to know more about you. And then take all of this and leverage it into a personal brand statement or even in the narrative that you share with other people, because that's what makes you unique and that's what helps you stand out. Pillar number 2 is showcase value and confidence. Now, this one is a big one. Know the value that you provide. Could you share that with someone if you were asked? Like, what value do you bring? Could you share that? Because you need to be able to talk about that and share it with other people. You would do it if you were in an interview, but sometimes we fail to do it when we're just in our everyday life. When you have a strong sense of the value that you bring, it just shows and demonstrates confidence. They can see that you trust yourself and that you believe in what you're sharing with them. And if you don't value yourself and what you have to offer, then why should other people value you? That is a direct quote from one of my coaches at one point in my life when I was going through challenges with my own visibility. And it really struck me as something I needed to focus on after I heard her say that to me. And it was so true. So focus on the value and the impact that you're making and make it visible. You get to create the narrative that people have about you, and you can change it today. If you don't like the one that's out there about you or you're not sure, just create the one that you want. What do you do that creates value and makes an impact? Write down 3 to 5 things. Think about the things that you're doing that are really great, that people admire you for, that give you compliments for, and talk about them. We want you to capture these things and talk about them in conversations, in one-on-ones, in meetings, maybe online. People need to know who you are, and you need to share that with them. Here's some questions to think about. How did you add value today or this week? What impact did it make? Can you quantify it? What value can you offer to others? That might be peers, your direct reports. It might be people that you mentor. It might be people in your community and your industry. How can you show that? What do your clients say about you? What kind of feedback do you get? How have you helped them? That is a good way to demonstrate the value that you bring. What have your successes been? I think sometimes we forget about our successes. We kind of put them into the background after they happen, and we're on to the next thing. Write them down. Have a little success folder if it helps. And then what do people need to know more about you? What do you need to share with them? How can you connect with them in a bigger way? I put a couple of quotes in the Visibility Factor that really helped explain kind of how I was feeling when I was going through some of these challenges. Everyone deserves that moment when they realize that they've shifted their perception of themselves and no longer want or need to hide behind anyone else. Isn't that amazing? Just think, I know for sure that I was hiding behind people thinking that they were smarter, stronger, better than I was, and that was just crazy. Here's the second quote. I was in comparison mode, and it made it hard for me to see my gifts as actual gifts. I wasn't in a place of self-acceptance yet. It took me some time to get there. And once I did, I realized how amazing it was. The acceptance of who you are and what you have to offer is an amazing place to be. I want that for you too. I don't want you to continue to see that you are not good enough, that others are better than you. I really want you to celebrate where you are right now and see that you bring amazing things to your work and into your life. The third pillar is create clear and consistent messaging. Are you clear in your story? If someone asked you, what have you done in your career, or what are you known for? Could you answer that? Are the answers that you're giving the answers that you want to be giving? What are you conveying to other people? You need to at least explore that, because the way you think about yourself defines the words that you share with other people. And those words might be helping you. They might be positive and inspiring, but they may also be coming across as negative or skeptical. And you really need to explore whether or not they're the right words for you. Sometimes listening to yourself, paying attention to what you're sharing can help with that. So pay attention to the language that you use. And is it positive? Is it sharing good things about you that people can see the confidence that you have? Or is it sharing negative things? Because that is what's creating the perception that people have about you. So think about the message that you're sending through your words. What do you want to show instead? If it's not the one you want, what do you want to show instead? You get to change that anytime you want. So for this week's visibility action plan, I would love you to think about these 3 pillars that I've just gone through, and how are you going to leverage them to raise your visibility in a bigger way? What do you want to accomplish this week, or in the next month, or in the next 3 months? What do you need to do to make those things more visible so that people can see them and recognize them? Do you need to focus more on your mindset, like I was just talking about? Do you need to shift the way that you see yourself first in order to succeed at this? If you focus on these things and really spend some time being intentional and consistent, it allows you to take actions that help you play bigger, that show the brand that you want in a bigger way. It allows people to really recognize the value that you're bringing, the impact that you're having, and they will think about you for new opportunities. I see it every single day with the clients that I work with, and I want you to have that experience as well. So think about these 3 pillars, decide what you want to do to take action on them, and put them into practice. If you know anyone else who could benefit by hearing more about the 3 pillars for their personal brand and visibility, I'd love it if you'd share this episode with them so that they can benefit as well. Perhaps you can work together and create a visibility partnership that will help you both succeed in your visibility and building your personal brand to a much bigger place. Thanks so much for joining today on the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.